Every agency you talk to will tell you they know the industry. They know construction, they know trades, they know installation, they know custom integrators, but ask them one question. When was the last time they were on a job site? And I don't mean showing up with a laptop and a ring light to shoot some content. I mean, when was the last time they were on a job site as a worker, dirty in concrete, with tools in their hand? Most of them, never. Most people think I'm just another marketer who decided to pick this industry as a niche because there is money in it, just like everyone else does. The truth is different. I'm a construction and installation industry guy who moved into marketing to help people like my dad. And today I'm going to tell you my story so you can understand who I am, what my company is about, and why our intentions are different. I'm Chris. For 5 years, I grew the Loxone brand in the USA and Europe, where we sold more than $10 million in smart home systems in 4 years. And along the way, we trained over 1,200 integrators. Today, I help home service business owners win more clients. Now, no fluff, let's get to the point. Listen, my dad ran a small finishing and renovation company for 30 years. Every summer, growing up, I was on job sites, not as an observer, as a worker. And watching how my dad ran his business, I noticed a pattern. The whole thing ran on a word of mouth and referrals. A big project comes in, you hire people because there is work. The work finishes, the stress starts. Where is the next job coming from? If you have projects lined up, great, you keep going. But when you don't know where the next job is coming from, that's when the anxiety hits, the stress. And the worst part of this business starts when you need to lay off your crew. Next time around, you tell yourself, okay, next big project, I'm not hiring. I will rely on subcontractors. You do that once, twice, and by the third time, the subcontractors don't have time for you because they have their own work. I watched this pattern since I was a kid and wondered, is there a better way to run this business? Is there a smarter way? Right after I finished high school, I went to Toronto, Canada to work as a painter on a construction site. Not for my resume, for money and experience. And here is what surprised me. My boss in Toronto, who ran a construction company, had the same exact problem. Sometimes there was a lot of work, sometimes there was nothing. He never knew where the next project was coming from. He never knew if he would be able to pay his guys. Same pattern, different country. After a few months in Canada, I went back to university studying construction engineering, and in my second year, I got the chance to go on a study abroad program to the Czech Republic. And something else happened. A company called Loxone, a smart home technology manufacturer from Austria, was recruiting engineers from that school. They wanted to enter the Polish market, and since I was the only Polish-speaking person there, they invited me in for a conversation. When I walked into their office and saw the technology, I knew this was the future. And I knew it because working with my dad on job sites, I would be hearing from integrators complaining for years about KNX systems. Nothing works, the integrator disappeared, you can't integrate anything, service is a nightmare. And right then, my future boss explained me that Loxone was the perfect alternative. Simple system, anyone can service it, solves all the problems. It made massive sense to me. I also saw success in him. Nice car, nice watch, big modern office, 20 people working under him, and he told me something that stuck. To be successful, you don't need a university degree. A few months later, I trusted him, I dropped out of university, moved to the Czech Republic, and went all in on Loxone. He sold me on the vision of opening a new branch in Poland and making me the country director. So I went for it. For a year, I was on the phone from the Czech office selling smart home training to integrators in Poland. Then it turned out I had to deliver the training myself. So I learned the system inside out and started running them. I drove all over Poland training integrators companies on how to do smart home installations. But not only integrators, electrical companies, construction companies, renewable energy companies, HVAC companies. In total, we trained over 1,200 firms in the construction and installation industry. In our first year, we did around $500,000 in revenue. The owners of Loxone noticed and decided to invest in a new office in Poland. I remember when we opened that new office, my boss came to me and said, Chris, the Austrians have put serious money into this and they have ambitious goals. Year 1, we need to do $1 million. Year 2, 3 million. Year 3, 5 million. I was 21 years old and I thought, sure, What's the problem? Why so little? I was young, ambitious, and ready to go. But you know what I realized later and what really impressed me? Those numbers weren't pulled out of a thin air. They knew their metrics. They knew exactly what is cost to acquire a customer. They knew how much they need to spend on marketing. They knew the average revenue per installer. They knew the average revenue per integrator. Everything was calculated to the decimal point. All I had to do was execute. And I did. In 2020, we hit $1 million. In 2021, 3 million. In 2022, 5 million. Along the way, the Austrians, seeing this success, decided to invest roughly $4 million into a new headquarter office in Warsaw, and we became the fastest growing smart home company in Poland and the fastest growing Loxone branch in the world. Loxone itself became a unicorn, valued at over $1 billion. After that, they asked me to help them do the same thing in the United States. For 5 years at Loxone, I sat right between the manufacturer, the integrator, and end customer. First, we help integrators get clients. Second, we help them close sales. And third, we deliver the product and support. And through those 5 years, I saw what separates the 10% of companies that grow like crazy, hire people and increase their revenue year over year from the 90% that's stuck in the same place for years or even decades. I saw integrators who had no problem selling systems for $30, $50, $100, and $200,000, and I saw the ones who complained that there is no market for it and couldn't sell the simplest system for $5 grand. It didn't matter if it was Europe or the US, same problem everywhere. Through those 5 years, we trained over 1,200 companies, and 90% of them look exactly like my dad's business. 30 years in the industry, zero marketing, zero website, zero social media. Jobs from word of mouth and referrals. Zero predictability, constant stress. The same pattern I saw in my dad. Hiring because there is a lot of work. Laying people off because there is not enough. Wondering when the next job is coming from. That pattern repeated in 90% of these firms. Most owners of these companies say the same thing. A good company doesn't need marketing. Good work speaks for itself. Just do good work and clients will find you. I heard that my entire life. My dad said it. My dad never had a website, never had a social media, but he also never had predictability. He never had peace of mind. That's exactly why I started Freedom Flow Marketing, because I realized this isn't just my dad's problem. It's the problem of an entire industry. I started Freedom Flow Marketing to break this pattern and help people just like my dad. Doing this with genuine passion and a lifetime of experience in this industry is what made Freedom Flow Marketing one of the fastest growing marketing agencies in this industry. We focus on one niche only, the installation and construction industry, nothing else. In our first year, we did over 400K in revenue. Second year, over 1.5 million. This year, our third, we are on track to cross 2.5 million. Why? Because it works. Installation and construction companies need marketing help. And working with hundreds of them, we've built proven systems and frameworks that we deploy with massive results. Our team is over 20 experts today, all working toward our client success. But the numbers I just gave you don't matter as much as this. In 3 years, we generated over $25 million in additional revenue for our clients. Take Greg from Gizmo Custom Systems. Greg trusted us at the very beginning of our journey. Greg ran his integration business for a long time with zero marketing, word of mouth and referrals. His business had zero predictability. He knew something had to change. He felt it, but he was scared because he burned money before, multiple times. Since working with us, Greg hired a new crew and generated several $1 million in additional revenue, purely from our marketing efforts. So if you take one thing from this video, I want you to understand this. When you talk to Freedom Flow Marketing, you are not talking to a typical marketer who thought, hey, construction is a profitable niche, let's do marketing for them. No, you're talking to someone who has lived your problems his entire life. Someone who has trained over 1,200 firms. Someone who has seen with his own eyes the difference between companies that grow like crazy and the ones that stay stuck for years or decades. So if you are planning to work with an agency, choose one that knows your industry from the inside, not just from the outside. Let's talk. We will show you the system that works and the numbers that prove it. Book a call. If this helped, drop a like and subscribe, because I post practical stuff like this here regularly. See you in the next one.